You're watching The Isaiah Factor, uncensored.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored, the second half hour. Yet again, Texas is proposing bills targeting transgender youth in the third called special session of the legislature. Now, the bill would require students to play on the sports teams based on their gender at birth rather than their identity. A transgender Texan joins us to discuss why this bill could be detrimental in ways that go far beyond sports.
And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about this topic is Jordan Pollack. Jordan, glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. For those who may have questions, you were born and now you live your life as?
Male. So
Okay.
I'm a transgender male. I transitioned when I was 25 years old. So I've been on hormones now for about 5 years.
Now, when you hear about this bill that could be proposed by the governor in the special legislative session, basically allowing students born as a male to play as a male and born as a female to play as male in sports in school, your thoughts on that?
At first, and being transgender, but transitioning later in life. So I didn't really necessarily experience, what it would have been like to have to go through this. So at first, when this bill came out, I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. But then when I really started to meet these transgender kids and meet their families and hear their stories and the things that they're going through, I don't think it's fair to not let someone play the sport that matches their gender identity, especially when we're talking about kids who are so young. It's not like we're referring to someone who's 40 years old and all of a sudden decides to transition and they're a professional male basketball player and now they want to play with the females, right? We're talking about kids. And that's what really gets me, is that these are just all kids. They just want to play sports because it makes them happy. It creates that sense of team. It creates, it just helps you be a better person. I played sports growing up, and having that in my life, I think, really helped mold me into the character I am today. It helps show me how to be dedicated to things and not to give up on things. And putting this bill out there almost is showing these transgender kids that they're not worthy enough to play the sports that matches their gender identity. And it also creates a sense of more suicidal thoughts and more suicide calls to the hotlines of these transgender hotlines. And it's
so,
just
George,
not
is
good.
that what you're hearing from the young people, the young transgenders out there, that the pressure is so overwhelming in life, day-to-day life, and also at school, that they're considering suicide?
Yeah, I tried to commit suicide when I was a kid because I didn't feel welcomed and I was confused why I didn't feel like the rest of the girls. And it took me until I was 25 years old to realize that this is what I needed to do to fulfill my life and who I've always been. And so, it's not just necessarily what I'm hearing, but, the hotlines that come to these court hearings and stuff, like the people that work these hotlines, they've gone up 70% in calls since the first bill was put out. And now we're on, the third session and it's brought out again. So these are just facts from the people that work these hotlines that get the calls. And, I've personally met with families like this one little girl who's 10 years old and her parents are ready to move out of Texas because if this bill goes into effect, she will have to swim with the boys. And then everyone in her school is going to know she's a 10-year-old transgender girl. Whereas right now, people just view her as a female. And that puts her in a very unsafe situation.
And Jordan, what do you say to those parents out there who say, specifically in the case of transgender female who may be competing against biological females, that is just unfair, that if you're born a male, you tend to be a bit stronger and faster than females, according to those parents? What do you say to those parents who say the transgender female would have a unfair advantage over their children in team sports in school?
So what I see and what I saw, growing up is that, I mean, when I was in high school or in elementary school, I was bigger than a lot of the boys. As a female, I was just bigger than the boys because as we do see it, men or people with higher testosterone, I should say, their body develops a little bit later in life. They grow, their bone structure, all of that develops a little bit later in life. So when we're referring to these kids, that, for instance, like this 10-year-old little girl, I mean, you would meet her and you would never know she was a trans girl. She's the same size as all the other girls. There's no way she's any stronger. She's so young, and a lot of these kids are so young that they really don't have that advantage. And there hasn't been any cases of that. There hasn't been any complaints from cis girls in high school or different schools complaining that they don't want these transgender girls on their team. And that's another thing, these bills keep getting brought up, but there really are no complaints from the actual students. It's really just the parents. Do you think
it's more so the politicians and maybe the parents out there?
Yeah, and that's what I keep hearing more and more, is that these kids are almost being used as pawns because of the way, the Republicans or whoever wants the vote to sway. And that's the part that's really sad is, it's really just the parents and all these people that I see at these hearings at the court and, at the Capitol. A lot of them that are on for the bill are really just older generation, and they're not there with their kids who are speaking up. It's the people who have the trans kids. Those are the kids that are there speaking up for themselves.